Okay, here we are. Episode 14.
That's the one.
I know. Boy, time's flying by. Today's first day of, what was it, into spring, but they do when they put the clocks ahead, what's that called? Daylight saving time?
Daylight savings time, yeah.
First day, well, not the first day, since we did the podcast, first day. But,
Yeah.
yeah. And,
Yes.
just to let you know, and letting everybody out there know, and I love
boy.
it, let me tell you,
Oh, boy.
the Orioles, 6-2 win over the Yankees today.
Yeah.
And your star pitcher, Garrett Cole's going under Tommy John surgery as of today. He will be out for the whole year. He was your ace. So he's going to be gone. And the Orioles won today 6-2. So you know what that makes me feel like?
You're going to lose the World Series?
Nope. It makes me feel like
Him.
see? That makes me feel good.
Yeah, I guess so. Good, because you're in a rotten mood all night anyway. So now that you can cheer about your...
Shame.
Hey, this is kind of old news because everybody's been talking about it forever. But the speech from Trump.
Right.
And how, everybody was talking about how Democrats didn't clap for anything.
Sure. Yep.
Except Ukraine's money going out and back into who knows whose pocket. But this little kid, DJ Daniel, I lost a brother to cancer a long time ago, and this kid survived brain cancer so far. And, Trump made a big deal about it. But, of course, the press got a hold of it and said that he exploited the kid and blah, 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 blah. But I got to show you this moment because I thought it was very neat when Trump gave him an honorary Secret Service badge, and the head of the Secret Service came over and gave it to him. Right. And then the kid hugs this guy.
Oh, yeah, that was a great moment.
What a great moment.
A great moment.
Bob, we got that clip, right? Bob? Yeah, run that clip for us.
I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
I saw him in another interview, and Jesse Waters mentioned this on Fox News, but this guy, he was getting interviewed by some female reporter, and he said, what do you think about, Trump helping with Secret Service? He said, oh, it's great. And he goes, and I quote DJ Daniel, the little kid, if anybody makes fun of Trump, I'm on their bumper. So I thought that was so cool.
That is.
What a cool kid. So, but we all know already about it. We're behind because our shows are on Tuesday and we don't run until Thursday. But after that speech, it was tough. So part of some of the other things out there. I mean, there's so much going on again.
Yeah.
But the Dems. When Biden was in office, it was Green New Deal, right?
Right.
Buying electric, Bill sold cars. They were pushing the BMW electric. They were told to push it. Same thing on the Chevy side. I talked to my salesman, and he told me the same thing. They're pushing electric, and get rid of your gas stoves, do all this stuff. Now, Elon Musk is trying to find all this fraud and lost money. Now they're burning electric cars.
Right.
They're not. They're attacking the dealerships. I thought you wanted us to have electric cars. Now nobody wants to buy them because they're afraid they're going to get vandalized.
Yeah.
It's like
the hypocrisy is unbelievable.
It is.
It really is.
Hypocrisy. Yeah, that's so true. They just, and people are actually saying that they're afraid now to get a Tesla because they don't want it vandalized.
Right.
These people are radical nutcases.
Yep.
And the other thing I mentioned, I think to you at dinner today, is all these people that are so radicalized and they're throwing fire bombs and all this stuff. They're not getting hurt by Trump, by Musk.
By Musk.
I'll guarantee you, none of them are losing money
that's right.
or any problem like that. So they're just doing it. Who knows why? They're radicalized somehow. I don't know, but it's just so ridiculous. They're so angry. They're out there screaming and yelling, cursing. All these Dems, they're holding up all these protests and signs, and screaming and cursing, F-bombing.
Yep.
I mean, it makes no sense.
It looks like the bill passed today. I guess Congress and the Senate. Well, Congress did. Trump-backed bill to avert government shutdown passes House despite mutiny threats.
Yeah, and
Now it's got to go to the Senate, I guess.
Does it?
Well, it says here the Senate must pass the bill by the end of Friday to avert a shutdown.
Well, I hope it's just a majority and not 60 votes, because then they're gonna deliberately try to shut this down and blame it on him.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting. At least we got past that. The other good news we heard is that Zelensky agreed to a 30-day ceasefire.
Ceasefire, yep.
But now we're waiting on Putin
Yep.
to accept that deal.
Yeah.
So there's step one, guys. We're hopefully, things are going to get better and better and better for everybody. And that deal with the minerals has not been signed yet. So we're still waiting on that. But at least he's back to the table talking about a ceasefire, and maybe we can put an end to this stupid war that nobody's winning.
Yeah. I heard that the people of Iceland, or not Iceland,
No,
Greenland, they're kind of barking that they want their own independence from Denmark. Not that they want to become a state,
Right.
but they evidently they had a vote lately, and they said they wouldn't mind being independent. So I bet you we get that.
Wow.
We get Greenland, or it becomes a territory or something like that to the United States, sort of like Guam is, or
Yeah.
Puerto Rico or something.
I think
like
he wants to buy Greenland.
Yeah.
And with all the money he's finding,
Yeah.
he could probably do it. Can you imagine buying Greenland?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Imagine having the power to do that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, the country does.
Yeah.
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 What else?
Well, Columbia University campus.
Oh my God, what a mess.
These kids, and some of them are not students. They found a lot of students that are no students anymore. They're Hamas. What are they called? Hamas. Yeah.
Influencers or something like that.
And they're stopping kids from going to class. Are you kidding me? $100,000 a semester these people pay, and then these Jewish students are afraid to go to school.
And Trump withheld the $400 million of grants that the school normally gets.
That's right. And, and he said, you got to, because the campuses are not stepping up to break them up. Now, we know the freedom of speech, right? And everybody protests. Right. That's great. But you can't block doorways. You can't stop students from going in. You can't bully people.
Right.
And that's what's happening. So he said, okay, we're going to hold your money until you get this fixed.
They're harassing Jewish people.
Yeah.
Saying anti-Semitic things to them, and it's not right. You don't do that.
It's not right. We're supposed to be a country of rights, and everybody's got their rights, but they're taking them away from some kids.
That's right.
Now, they did find this one guy who's like heading up a lot of these protests. They said they took away his horn and his green card because he was leading these Hamas protests.
Right.
And Trump took his green card.
Yeah.
They want to get rid of him.
Yeah. Get
him out of the country. You don't, not even, and he wasn't even a student.
I was listening to Apple podcast from Apple News that they give you. It is so left wing, it's unbelievable. You should have heard the way they were talking about Trump.
Apple News, really?
Apple
really?
News. Yeah,
We're pulling it off Apple Podcast.
I was going to Brooklyn today, and I just figured I'd wind up listening to it because they were talking about that girl in the Dominican Republic, but they also talked about the tariffs and everything. And you could tell just in their voice that they're saying Trump is wrong. Trump, he's a bully because he's doing this to Canada and he's doing that to Canada and everything. It was terrible. It really is. I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
The people don't understand the tariffs. Now, it is true that if we keep putting tariffs, especially on China, a lot of stuff that Amazon sells, prices are probably going to go up. But we're not talking about $10.
Right.
It's spread. There is so much money involved, but when it breaks down to the actual, it's pennies, right?
Explain to me, if we sell a product for $10,000 and we sell it to Canada, we sell it to them with only like a 10% tariff or 5%. But when we buy something from Canada,
right,
they charge us 25% or 30%. So what Trump wants to do is just make the playing field even.
It's called reciprocal.
Right. If they charge a 10% tariff, he wants to charge a 10%. That's all they want. That's all he wants.
Right.
In fact, I've heard him say that, he says tariffs are good. He said, but it'd be great if nobody had tariffs.
Right. Right. But
That'll
the fact
be
they have them on us is why we got
But
them.
he's right. Why should we pay 25% for a certain product and they only pay 10% or 5% or something like that?
Right. Now, Trump also this past week, he halted the tariffs on automakers to help
Right. To help
our
the
automakers. Because if they start backing off
Right.
shipping to Canada, that's a
Yeah.
lot of cars that go to Canada, right? So if you spend a $50,000 car there, it's now going to be $75,000.
Yeah.
So a lot of Canadians won't buy it. It's going to hurt the auto industry. So he put it on hold for now, at least on the auto industry. So
He is a master negotiator. People
Yeah.
don't realize that.
right,
They don't realize that. Reagan was to a certain degree.
yeah,
And
tear down that wall.
yeah, and Reagan did some things, but Trump is constantly negotiating, throws things out there just to get the reaction of the other side,
Right.
and everybody's just jumping all over him, thinking that he's the devil and he's this and he doesn't know what he's doing and all that.
One thing I got to say, and I know people are, been screaming and yelling and with all the stuff that's going on and, stupid, stupid Elon. I love the guy. Right. I do rockets. So,
Yeah,
I have a Starship that's supposed to go up the end of March, 2-stage. Hopefully mine will work and not burn up. But anyway, he comes out with that chainsaw. Remember we talked about that.
yeah.
That upset a lot of people.
Yeah, and I can
Because-
understand.
yeah, me
I
too.
can understand the look. It didn't look good at all.
Yeah,
But
that's him. He's a little quirky.
He's a
and,
little quirky. He's
whatever.
not a very good speech maker. He can't public speaking. He's kind of
Well,
not very good
I
at
was
it.
happy to hear that Trump said, "Listen, we got to slow things down, especially when it comes to layoffs, and start using a scalpel. Really look at the people with who's doing a good job. We
Right.
can't just let somebody because they're in the job less than 90 days.
Right.
We can't have that." And it's funny. I know your daughter's a official park ranger.
Yes, she is.
They mentioned park rangers specifically that anybody new and stuff, they're going to really look at who they're
Right.
cutting.
Who they're cutting.
So hopefully she'll be fine.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Yeah, she's worried all about that.
She is. I got Kevin. You got the pictures, right?
Yeah.
I
Kevin,
got-
bring up that spot 10, that picture of my daughter.
That's it. Absolutely beautiful. Isn't that a great shot? Oh my God! Look
Yeah,
at her.
she
So
works-
professional.
She worked very hard to be a park ranger at any park, and she's at Flight 93 now out in near Pittsburgh, the memorial out there. So she's a full-fledged park ranger. That's what she's always wanted ever since she was a little kid.
That's
She
so
used to
cool.
talk about it all the time.
Now, wasn't there something about the meaning of the hat specifically?
Yeah, the hat, evidently, when you get the hat,
That's it.
that's it. You
Wow.
made it. Now, there's also certain levels, but you still keep the hat. And
Got
if
it.
she goes to another park or another national park, she has that hat, and that kind of.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like the badge of.
It's almost like a badge. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a big deal to get that.
That's so cool. I know she worked real hard to get
Oh
that.
yeah,
So
she
congrats.
did. Yep.
Congrats.
Yep. Thank you.
Very nice.
Yep.
Something to be proud of. I'll tell you.
People getting back to Elon Musk. People, the way they talk about him and everything. I mean, this guy. I know he started PayPal. Then
Okay.
after that, he sold that. Then he started Tesla, which was like 30 years old, 32 years old. Now, you would think after he sold PayPal, he'd enjoy his life.
Yeah.
But he has to come out with the number one electric car in the country,
Right.
in the world, practically.
Right.
Well, he conquers that. Now he's like 35, maybe 40 years old. And he comes out and he looks up in the sky and he says, gee, we could use some Starlink or rockets or let's go to Mars.
Yeah, let's go to
Let's go to the
Mars.
moon.
Yeah.
And he's got to start doing all that.
SpaceX.
So meanwhile, while he's doing that, he sees, gee, we should have better communications with everybody. We should have, open dialogue. So he buys X, or he buys Twitter.
Oh yeah, buys X. Yeah.
And now he's got X. I mean, it's unbelievable what this man has done. And people put him down and everything. The man's a genius.
I know. My son-in-law is reading his book. You
Yeah.
got to read.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's exactly called Elon or what's it called, but it is. He said it's a fantastic book. He's gonna let me read it afterwards,
Yeah, that's
or at least I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about earlier that the Dems are going so nutsy crazy that there was two things I saw in the news that I just thought was hilarious. This guy built a treehouse. This is in California. Guy built a beautiful treehouse, and neighbors come over, the kids come over, they all climb in it, blah, 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 blah. Well, somebody bitched about it because it was in the front lawn, and it's been there for years. They came and dismantled the whole thing.
Somebody just came on his property and dismantled it?
No, the government came
Oh,
in.
the government. Oh.
Said it was unsightly, blah, 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 whatever. But that ain't the best part. Want to hear the best part? 3 kids had a lemonade stand. When they approached them because they didn't have a permit, they shut down the lemonade stand.
Yeah.
How bad can that be?
I know.
How bad?
Well, you hear that a lot. A kid will set up a lemonade stand, and you got to have a license or some kind of
permit?
You got to
Really?
either a license or some kind of permit you got to get from the town.
Yeah.
And if they don't have that, the police can shut you down. They could say,
Yeah, but
sorry,
why-
I understand. It's a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old
Yeah, yeah,
selling
exactly.
lemonade.
Yeah.
What is the big deal?
You know what I do when I see that? I see a lemonade stand. I go there. I give them $10 for
Yeah,
a couple
right.
of lemonade. They're like, "Oh my god! Oh, can we get close down for the day now?" No, kid, you got to keep working.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just some of the little crappy things that are happening around the world. And these are just isolated stories, but still,
Yeah.
you know, they got to pick on everything. It's always just trying to stop anything that Trump's doing. I mean, we said this before. We keep saying it because it keeps happening every single day. I got to tell you too now with this tariff stuff, because people don't understand it all the time. Even the stock market's been down for a week. Crypto's way down.
Yeah, crypto
It
is
just
wrong.
started to bounce again today. So,
But it dipped under 80,000, didn't Bitcoin?
oh yeah, 77,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and when Bitcoin goes, they all follow. And you know, I'm watching my portfolio go $1,000 a day, you know, down to shit. But it is bouncing again, and you know, there's going to be pro crypto. There's a pro crypto administration, and they're going to have they really want to get clarity on crypto. And once that happens, I think things will get better again.
Yeah.
But these tariffs, I think the standard, you know, stock market's nervous about it.
Sure.
And it's just dropping and dropping. And I don't know what it was today. I didn't even look. In fact, I stopped looking at my cryptocurrency.
It was down. By close of the bell, it was down.
Yeah, by a lot? Or?
No.
Okay.
No, not
Okay.
by a lot.
So they're leveling off a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and it was Maria Bartiromo.
Bartiromo.
Great girl. She
You know
knows her
she
stuff.
dated? You ready for this?
Oh, no. Who? Me?
No, the Ramones. One of the guys on the Ramones.
Not Joey.
Joe, I think it was Joey Ramone.
No,
Somebody
it
on
can't
the
be.
Ramones. Yeah,
Can't
way
The
back.
guy looks like Howard Stern.
She did. She dated him.
Oh, way back. Oh,
way
all
back.
right.
Yeah, no, not now.
Oh,
But way back.
Yeah, Joey Ramone's dead
yeah,
now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he
God
is.
rest his soul. She talked about how China doesn't see these drastic swings as much in their market because they look at the entire year. Or actually, I shouldn't say that. They get an average of the 100 years. That's how theirs works. We go by quarter.
Oh, yeah.
So we recognize bigger swings in 3-month
Sure.
period of time than they do. So that was interesting to hear her, you know, say that. So, but I tried to get it for this pot, and maybe I can dig it up. There's an explanation about tariffs, and I want to run it because maybe it'll help everybody here understand how it works, because of all that, you know, we import from Canada is a lot less than we export, right? So they give the whole balance about how these things work. So who is it? Who runs this clip? Bob or Kevin? Bob. Kevin, do me a favor. Dig it up.
Yeah, dig it up. I think it's clip 9. Go to clip 9.
Yeah, find the one that's the guy's given. It's even got a little video to it, and it's got
it's on clip 9. Go.
All right.
A tariff is essentially a tax on goods and services that are imported. The purpose of a tariff is generally to protect the product or service that is domestically produced. Here are the basics of how a tariff might work. Let's imagine that country A produces widgets, and country B produces similar widgets. Country B is able to produce their widgets for $10 each, while in country A it costs them $14 to produce their widgets. Well, in an effort to get more business, the manufacturers in country B decide to sell their widgets in country A for just $13 a widget. As you can imagine, this isn't good for the manufacturers in country A. Now they can't sell their widgets for a profit. Well, business begins to slow for the manufacturers in country A, and because business is slowing, they must let go of some of their workers. Well, the government in country A doesn't like this, so they decide to impose a tariff on all widgets that are imported into country A from country B. They are going to charge $5 per widget to all imports. Well, now the manufacturers in country A are thrilled. They can sell their widgets for, let's say, $15 a widget, and the competitors in country B can't beat their price. So that is essentially how a tariff works. Now the real question is this good or bad? Well, for the widget manufacturer in country A, it's a great thing. They were losing money before with no real way to compete, but now they're selling their widgets again for a profit, and they can hire again, and their business is growing. So what about potential negatives? Well, one potential negative is retaliation by country B. Perhaps country B is upset by this widget tariff, and perhaps they put their own tariff on, let's say, chickens that are imported into their country from country A. And also, let's imagine that there's a lot of chickens that get shipped from country A to country B. Well, this could be the beginning of a trade war. And although it often takes a long time for trade wars to play out, there tends to be many losers and only a few winners in a trade war.
You had mentioned earlier about that girl that went missing.
Yeah.
From where?
She was in the Dominican Republic with 4 other friends on like a spring break thing. She's 20 years old.
Let me guess. She took off with some guy she met.
She took off to some guy down to the beach by themselves.
Oh boy.
The guy, he is there. He's got his hand around her. And the guy, evidently, he was from Iowa. Guy's from the United States. Okay. And supposedly, he said he got drunk and he got into the water with her, but then a wave came and knocked him down, and he started throwing up, and he got out of the ocean, and he laid on the beach, and he saw, the last time he saw her, he said she was still in the water, waist high, and he said, then I passed out. Now she's gone. But he's said some other things too about this situation that didn't add up. So they're
investigating him.
They're investigating him now.
He's the number one suspect.
He's the number one. Supposedly, I think he said he was from Iowa, or they said he was from Iowa. But she was in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. 20-year-old college student was last captured on surveillance footage, gallivanting with friends during their spring break trip at a resort in Dominican Republic before she mysteriously vanished.
So that reminds me of Natalie Holloway.
Yes,
that was in 2005.
Yep.
That's a long time ago. And they never really found out what happened there.
That was 2005?
Yeah. They actually declared her dead in 2012. Once they figured out they weren't going to find her. They still didn't figure out what happened. Not exactly. No, they arrested some guys.
Well, they arrested that guy, but he was actually arrested for something else he did. He did something else afterwards.
Right, and they picked him up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this girl, she was 18 years old.
Wow.
She was a graduate of Mountain Brook, Alabama, I think, or something like that. So these girls need to learn a lesson, right?
Yeah, they do.
Stick with your group.
Yep, stick with your group is right.
Don't
go wandering off.
My kids go on field trips even in high school, right? Yep. Young kids. Take the bus, they go wherever. Stay with your group. These girls, spring break's going on right now, right? In Florida?
Yep.
The same thing. You don't know who you're getting into, ladies.
You're not.
So be careful out there. So, one of the things I wanted to mention about Trump, too, is he really backs all his people. Right now, Elon's getting a bunch of shit from everybody right now. So, you know what he does? He announces he's going to buy a couple of Teslas. Right? What did he get? I think it was a
Model S.
Model S, probably top of the line Tesla.
Yep.
Other than the truck or whatever he's got.
Yep.
Just, he's not going to drive the car. It's just in support.
Well, he bought the Cybertruck for his daughter, Kai.
Yes, and I saw that on video. Yeah. She's a great golfer,
I know.
by the way, and I watch her a lot. Yep. She goes out to the golf course and she drives a Tesla truck. Yep. So just in support of Elon, this guy buys these cars, just to show support. And
that's right.
I think that's so cool.
It is cool.
Really to back him up. And there's also talk that he may get Secret Service coverage now, which everybody will bitch about because, we're spending money on him now and Secret Service. But
there's really watched the Larry Kudlow interview with Musk. I saw that. That's on Fox.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good. And Elon explains exactly what he's doing. In fact, did you ever go to the website, the Doge website? You can see all the receipts, everything that they're saving,
Yes.
and what
Yeah.
they've spent
Yeah.
in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, you should see it. How much they? Oh my God,
It's
you would not believe.
I know.
They're still sending checks out to people that are 150 years old for Social Security.
Oh, yeah, and that reminds you, I did have another clip too. It was during his speech, but we know it's old news. But he started reading off some of the stuff they were doing,
Right.
and he said something about some place in Africa, and he goes, "Nobody knows where that is."
I don't even know where. I
It was
don't know where
so
that's at.
it was
Yeah.
so funny, Kevin.
Yeah,
I got to show
yeah,
you.
Kevin.
Yeah.
It's spot 9.
Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. I mean, he was making jokes about it, but think about the money, where they're going.
Yeah.
Then he said something else that, oh, you never heard of that, or
Right.
But that's our man for now.
Clint calls her Pocahontas in front of everybody.
Yeah, he goes, wait, why don't you clap for the
Well,
Ukraine
Glenn
thing?
Beck was talking about that, about how Trump calls people names.
Yeah.
But he does it just to test the waters. Simple, an example. Back in 2016 when he was in, and he called the guy from Korea, the leader,
Oh, yeah.
Little Rocket Man,
Little Rocket Man, yeah.
and kind of put him down. But you want to know something? He never launched another rocket again. He didn't launch anyone over Japan like he was doing.
I remember that,
test
yeah.
rockets here, test rockets there.
Yeah.
He stopped it the whole time. He stopped it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think hopefully we're building a better country, stronger country.
yes.
We do have some pains right now. Now, again, everyday people are not feeling it as much. Inflation is still there. We know eggs are up and everything's up. But it's not, it's not up 10%. It's, it's hopefully we're going to stabilize.
It's gonna be a little painful right now, but
Yeah.
it will benefit probably this time next year or right around Christmas. You'll see a
Right.
big benefit to it. It will. It will.
And people are, again, we mention the tariffs all the time, but think of it this way. Okay, you got a checker game, right?
Right.
Playing checkers.
Right.
Everybody's got so many checkers.
Correct.
I have all my checkers and you have 3.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
No, you're
So they're
right.
hitting us with 25% tariffs. We're going to hit them with 25. You hit us with 10, we'll hit you with 10. It's
right.
even.
Yep. He just wants the even playing field. That's all. And he wants the even playing field for us and also for the other country.
Right.
He said it. He said, I don't want to hurt the people, but
Right.
why should we have to pay 25%
Right.
for milk and dairy and things like that from Canada,
Yeah.
and we only charge 10%? It doesn't make sense.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous.
So that's our week so far, guys.
Yeah.
It's a million miles an hour.
Yep.
But knowing that he took a good step back here a little bit on the layoffs, I think is good.
Yeah.
Hopefully
which is good.
there
Yep.
you think there'll be ever good press about him? No.
No, it won't. Alrighty. That's it.
No more YMCA, please. God, I hope Orioles lose next week. Please. Lord God, help me. Make the Yankees beat them. All right, that's 14's a wrap. I'm Joe.
I'm Bill.
Good night.
Good night.
See